Hey there, everybody! This is the Be Confidently Wrong Best Video Game Music Tournament Turbo, because that's the title I gave it. It wasn't a well thought out title, but you try to keep coming up with new names for your game music tournaments. No, I'm serious, give me ideas next time. Nevertheless, that's right, everybody. We are once again doing one of these fangled tournaments, which are basically an elaborate excuse for us to review music. Once again, we have a selection of 16 tracks because 32 tracks were a bit too much to do all in one night.
Yes.
Yes.
And I am joined by the usual clown car of performers. Devar Arkvaron.
Hello, I am the heart judge of this music show.
Danton, Stormkeeper.
Hey, kids, how's it going?
It's going well, thank you for asking. And then we have Icipal, welcome aboard.
Disclaimer, none of us are actual real music critics. This is a sham.
No, but we are white people on the internet, so we have to have an opinion about anything. You know, it's an unwritten law. We are definitely going to
getting
have
a tan this summer.
opinions about music, and we have a selection of fine music tonight to judge, as this is, in fact, a single elimination style tournament. I don't think any of us will ever do a round robin and JPW football style of tournaments. No, we'll stick it to the classic format that we have seen in 100 million anime and wrestling TV shows. So, there it is. Tournament arc, if you will.
What is he talking about? I don't play sports ball.
I don't know.
No, you play Blitzball, clearly.
Oh gosh.
There are going to be some tracks that are objectively highly produced and high quality, as well as some other ones who might be a bit more niche and obscure in terms of general appeal. If appeal can be measured generally, that is. So without any further ado, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns in a musical contest. Devar, if you please.
Okay, time to press the play.
Devar will be our disc jockey for tonight, and immediately we have an interesting selection. Two tracks who couldn't possibly be more different in tone and mood and everything in between. On one side we have the Super Animal theme from Super Animal Royale, and on the other side the main theme from Mouth Washing. Why don't we start with something a bit more light? Yes, exactly, that one. Go on, Devar.
Contender number 1, Super Animal Royal. Play your tune.
So this is a pretty nice, upbeat little track that gets you in the mood for killing your fellow animals, I would say. It's quirky and it's fun. The music itself seems to aspire to emulate the little high-pitched noise of woodland critters, I would say. But it gets even better at the end, when it seals the deal with having actual woodland critter noises. In fact, on that note, Devar, jump towards the final minute or so, if you please. Okay, pause. Now that's adorable. I don't care who you are, that's adorable.
It is adorable.
Okay.
Very Animal Crossing.
We have to give a chance to mouthwashing. Now, this is a completely different, complete tonally opposite beast compared to Super Animal Theme. It's the kind of music that's more of a slow burn, much like the game itself, slow burn, psychological, emotional, traumatic horror. And really, the synth is the protagonist of this particular track. Devar, if you please.
Contender number 2, Mouthwashing. Play your tune.
Pause. I think that's enough for now. You get the idea. Like I said, the slow burn, tension rising, dreamlike synth that comes into view, the off-putting ambience noises in the background adds to the mystique and the suspense of this particular main menu music. But now it's time to judge these tracks against each other, and while I shall be the arbiter, you three will be tasked with said judging. So, let's start with you, Devar.
I do like Mouthwashing's beginning where it sounds like a heart is beating with the first few notes.
It reminds me specifically of the soundtrack from John Carpenter's The Thing, composed by Ennio Morricone. It had that dum, 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 right at the beginning. That is immediately very good atmosphere, yes.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's really good atmosphere, a really good unsettling mood, essentially, as well, on top of that. Kind of like... what the game is going for and its vibe. Meanwhile, Super Animal Royal is going for the very quirky, very fun by even incorporating some chip tunes during the whole thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with mouthwashing because it really sets me on edge when I hear the music, honestly, and a piece of music that makes me feel something like that is going to get points in my book.
Yes, that's your G-spot. I mean, your weakness. Your musical G-spot. Okay, that's 1 point for mouth washing. Dantan, what do you think?
Let's see. Cutesy, uplifting, adorableness, or crippling depression?
You make it sound like such a hard choice.
Yes, it is kind of a hard choice because they, as you all say, and by the genres that they're in, they have different vibes.
Yeah, but both have death involved.
In a way, they do.
Yeah, but one plays it like coyly, like it's just fun, guys. Killing your friends.
I'm unloading an AK-47 on your face, but it's fun.
Hard choice because they both fit basically
A
what they're
different
going
mood.
for.
Yes, they are really good at representing the games that they are attached to. No questions about that.
No questions about that at all. But my vote is mouthwashing as well.
Okay, Icipal?
Well, in the end, my vote would go to Super Animal Royale because I like its basically misadvertising whimsiness and happiness.
Well, it's not
the
exactly
actual
misadvertising it. It's just that Battle Royale games trivialize the concept of death.
But if you had no actual visuals to go with it and listen just to a track, first thing you wouldn't think about with this track would be kill, 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 kill.
Well, I mean, the tone, in fairness, the tone and the art style is pretty consistently cutesy all throughout the game, in spite of the fact that they have guns.
That's why I said without any visual aids.
Yes.
Yeah, I get what he means. It sounds like a platformer.
Like Dantan said, Animal Crossing. But with the less depth and more murder.
Okay, so...
And I also like the little animal sounds. I think they add them, and whereas mouthwashing is really fitting with this somber, slowly increasing tempo tune, but I think it takes a bit too long to actually get to the point.
I know that you and Matti are not a fan of lengthy build-ups to songs.
There is build-up, and then there is not getting to the point.
I don't think.
So what
I don't think this is the
you
case
don't like
at all.
being teased.
They're not fans of musical foreplay.
And I like that. But while I like how the mouthwashing main theme makes it, gives you the impression of being underwater. The whole extra sounds at the background, like feeling orcas crying, does feel kind of distracting from the overall piece.
I think it adds, now that you actually proposed the analogy of feeling underwater, as if you are choking and drowning and you are completely helpless to stop what's coming to you, which reflects very well what happens in this game. In many layers, might I add. But yes. So 1 vote for Super Animal theme, and 2 votes for the main theme from Mouth Washing, which means Mouth Washing advances to the quarterfinals. All right, let's move on now.
Wins.
Well, here we are. We have a track from Devar's favorite game of all time, Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Remember, Devar, I asked for your permission to use this track in our tournaments.
I know, and I don't mind. It's here.
Okay, but you're not going to vote for it. I know that.
We'll see. It depends on. I remember Buck Bumble, but we'll see. Contender Buck Bumble, play your tune.
Bum to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bum to the bump to the bumper.
Okay, so I did some light research on this soundtrack. According to the composer Justin Sciarvona, the inspiration for this was the musical genre of speed garage, which has its roots on the UK garage scene. That's the extent of my research. I think this track is a hidden gem in its own right, and a lot of people do agree with that. It has been misrepresented in the past by people with zero musical understanding, if you ask me, but I do believe this is a real bop, a proper earworm of a song, and once it gets inside the old noggin, it never leaves you. I constantly catch myself murmuring bum ba da bum ba da bum 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 back to the bumble or whatever it is that it says. I don't rightly remember the lyrics, but the energy of it is stuck up in here and I cannot get rid of it. I think it's catchy, is what I'm trying to convey here.
Yeah.
Now, conversely, let's listen to the iconic chase music from Clock Tower. Don't Cry Jennifer. Here we go.
Contender Clock Tower, play your tune.
Pause. I do appreciate how complex of a composition this is, especially for the SNES. And I once compared this particular style of music to a Goblin soundtrack, Goblin the band specifically, which famously composed the music for the earlier Dario Argento films. It has that haunting yet frenetic energy to it that doesn't relent and it keeps going. It doesn't quite coalesce into something musically coherent, but it does make for tense music, especially in the context of being chased by some small man with a giant pair of scissors. It has a very 1970s Italian giallo vibe to it, is my point, and that is why I find it fascinating as a piece of music. What do you people think? Isipal, let's begin with you.
First of all, the B movie from the 90s sure was extreme!
Yes?
But my vote will go to Don't Cry Jennifer.
Okay, reasons?
Because, while the Buck Bumble seems really fitting for the type of game it is, it doesn't really do anything for me, and it's a lot of just repetition after repetition after repetition, which I guess, fine, but not really my taste. And while I'm not entirely sold to Don't Cry Jennifer as well, because the style of the music seems to be a bit of all over the place, but I sometimes feels like it is a horror game. Sometimes it feels like I'm listening to a track from a sci-fi game and so forth. But I really like the threatening tone it has going for,
Yes.
since it is, chase music.
Yes, it is iconic for a reason. Devar, what do you think?
Oh, okay. So,
If you need to listen to the tracks again, don't
oh
hesitate.
no, I'm fine. I'm fine with
Rumble.
both tracks are seared into my soul for better and for worse on both counts. Because Buck Bumble is a very earworm, style sort of music that I can appreciate for what it is. Meanwhile, Clock Tower's chase theme is definitely something you'll never forget especially because I will say this: the game is great if you're into horror games and especially Super Nintendo games, but it is probably one of my top 5 games I would never play again because the game actually legitimately frightens me to my core due to the fact of the visuals and the music. Basically, really sets everything with the mood and everything, and it just really makes me terrified to play it.
You know that's a good horror game when it has that grip on you.
Yeah. So I know this is probably a bad thing to say, but I probably would say my vote does go to Clock Tower as well, just because it is such a memorable piece of music.
Okay, that leaves Danton.
Well, Buck Bumble's track, it's a genre of music I'm not really into. I mishear the lyrics sometimes as bum to the face or something like that.
I don't quite understand the lyrics myself the first time I hear it, but I start to get a grip of it once I heard it enough times, and I'm willing to do so because this speed garage has something going on for itself. I have to say.
It does have basically good qualities to it. I'm just not a fan of not all of it, but there are some that are pretty good, and are sort of because of the sort of rhythmic beat to it. But the Clock Tower, Don't Cry Jennifer, it has this way of clawing its way deep into your heart and just basically not like finishing you off, but it's the edging of the terror that is coming towards you.
I know what it is. I know what it is. It's the ow, 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 ow part, isn't it? It's as if it's trying to emulate human screams with its limited means, and that makes it more horrible and horrifying, specifically because of the uncanny nature of said limited means. Yeah. That is to say, the means of an SNES music chip.
Yeah, but I also have a very soft spot for the SNES music chip as well as a whole as well, so my vote goes to Clock Tower.
It's unanimous then. A Clock Tower advances. Moving on then.
To Devar's dread.
He voted for it.
Think this was Devar's. This was Devar's. No matter who wins, I lose.
Right.
That's an interesting pair.
This is exactly what I was talking about when I said I added some very niche, very personal choices in there. Because, let me assure you, the music from Code Bunny will not appear on anybody's top 100 lists anytime soon. And I myself did not appreciate what it was and what it wanted to be up until I listened to it enough times. But I want to give it a fair shot. So let's play Motherly Goddess of the Sun from the Code Bunny soundtrack on the right, Devar.
Okay. I was just waiting for you to save the full title so I know what I'm clicking on. Okay. So, Contender, Code Bunny, play your tune.
Pause. Okay, so I think this is a masterfully crafted little tune reminiscent of older action platformers that you could play on the old SNES. Or something along those lines. It's maybe even the Game Boy Advance, for that matter. There is something to it that feels nostalgic, even if you've never played this sort of game. Code Bunny, by the way, for context, is a side-scrolling 2D sprite platformer. It's comparable to Mega Man X, or regular Mega Man, or it's a bit Mega Man X, a bit Sonic, a bit of both. It's a labor of love, if nothing else. This is specifically the final boss track. And as you know, I am weak in the knee for tracks that can grab my attention with that one part. It was like this for me when we judged, a certain piece of music from Freedom Planet.
Yeah.
So you can understand where I'm coming from when I think this one is neat. I don't think, realistically, that it will go very far in this tournament, but I wanted, at the very least, to give it representation, to give this very small game a representation, a musical representation, as it were. So, Lavi_Azur and Alumae, congratulations for making a very neat little piece of music that I enjoyed. Unfortunately, it is going against this one.
Etrian Odyssey 3. Contender, play your tune.
pause. Tumult, raise thy sword in pride. Indeed, indeed, I would say yes. Yes.
Yes.
This is the generic boss battle music from Etrian Odyssey 3, The Drowned City. So far, the best game in the original Etrian Odyssey trilogy. And this music is a big reason why I adore it. The beginning, the middle part, and of course when it goes da-na-na-na-na, which, as I had just finished discussing with you, I am very weak towards the best that part in the track. And almost all of it is the part in the track. You feel me, gentlemen? Do you feel what I'm trying to convey here?
Yeah, I do get what you're trying to say.
Yes. So now it is time to judge these two tracks fairly. So you might as well go ahead and choose Raise Thy Sword in Pride, because it's the obvious winner. Dantan.
Well, I have to say both tracks are good. I like basically how they both build up. You said the Code Bunny one is for the final boss, right?
Yes, I said that.
Which is funny because Etrian Odyssey's The Drowned City, Raise Thy Sword in Pride just sounds like final boss theme rather than normal boss theme.
I know.
Because it goes hard straight from the very beginning, like it grabs you instantly.
Yes.
Compared to Code Bunny, where Code Bunny, I feel it takes a bit more time to grab your attention. So my vote is for Rise Thy Sword in Pride.
Yes, I mean, it has to be said that Code Bunny is about as indie an indie game can ever get.
If we're comparing just these two, just against each other,
it doesn't have a shot. Doesn't have a single solitary chance compared to the high production quality of Etrian Odyssey 3, even taking into account the Nintendo DS music chip, which is not to everyone's taste, but it works really well here. I must stress. Yes, I mean, understandable. Devar?
Let's see. So Code Bunny, basically, for some strange reason, starts off with something that makes me think of Transformers for some strange reason. Yeah, and I don't know why, that basically stuck in my head, because the way it sounds, especially on the NES version of Transformer games, that basically got on that system.
Does that give it an advantage or a disadvantage in your judgment?
Not really. It's more neutral. It's more of a matter of fact. That's what it sounds like to me. But it does put up a really good showing, though, which I will say it does.
So?
Meanwhile, I think Etrian Odyssey 3 is probably the one where every part's the best part, as you said.
Pretty much.
So it's like, it just goes from one section of music that's really great to another section of music that's just even better.
Yes, yes, just when you thought you've heard the best it has to offer, it gets to... Right.
Yeah, so I will probably go with Etrian Odyssey 3 as well.
No surprise there. Icipal?
Well, let's just say that my vote goes to Etrian Odyssey 3 as well, because as Atolsa pointed out, it starts with a banger and goes very hard all the way through, especially during that Madhog's favorite part. And while Code Bunny in Materially Goddess of the Sun it's very completely fine-tuned, goes very hard on that 8-bit style, but it does also kind of make it somewhat generic.
That's a fair assessment. Like I said, I like this track personally, but it had to grow on me before I started appreciating all the little pieces that go in there. There is a clear tribute and homage to a specific mode of nostalgic gaming, and I appreciate it for that. But the truth is that it never stood a chance against most other tracks in this tournament. Still, it put up a good fight, but alas, it is not meant to be.
So it grew on you like a fungus and took over your brain.
It's more like I spent too much time on that one boss and I learned it eventually. Oh, okay, so this is interesting. This is very...
What an interesting matchup.
It is the most interesting matchup so far. It has been a weird combination of complete opposite tunes and tones and moods. And the theme seems to continue tonight. Now, I want us to start with one shot here, but before we do that, before you press that button, I'm going to ask you a favor.
Yeah.
I want you all to close your eyes, empty your mind, just let yourself be soaked by the ambience, if you can, the ambience and the enveloping ambience of this track, because it is a very, very specific kind of mood and energy, and a very specific mood piece, in fact. And it's not bombastic and it's not spectacular, but it is, I would describe it as soulful. So, with that in mind, and with nothing else in mind, let's listen to My Burden is Light.
Contender, one shot. Play your tune.
Pause. So, I think it is fair to say that this is the kind of music you could go to sleep with. Basically, ASMR. In the best possible way, I might add. The soundtrack from One Shot is just as underrated as the game itself. Even by myself, I have never thought too highly about One Shot. But the music is so beautiful, so precious. It is this ethereal, dreamscapey mood piece that accompanies you all throughout a dreamscapey, surreal journey. It makes me feel at peace in this tumultuous world in which we live in. Sometimes you need this to unwind, to detach yourself from earthly concerns, and just listen to good, sleep-inducing music like this one. I like it very much. And now, for the complete opposite of that, are you happy, Devar? We're finally having this one.
Yeah, we're having this one. And so, contender, Serious Sam, the second encounter, play your tune.
applause. Okay, so this is arguably the most memorable piece of music in the entire Serious Sam franchise. Feel free to disagree, there is a lot of good music in that series. Personally, I constantly associate this with a endless horde of monsters that is attacking you from every direction as you are stuck defending your position, which is literally Stonehenge. So yes, it's the Grand Cathedral. You hear the bell tolling for you at the beginning, and then the movement begins, and all of a sudden you realize you are in the midst of the most serious this Sam is ever going to get. I don't have that much to say about it. I think the track speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
Is it just nostalgia talking, or is it actually that good? It is up to you to decide. So, Danton, what do you think?
Well, I think both pieces of music, they have a very similar vibe of trying
Do they?
to invoke a feeling in you. Basically, but on different spectrums, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
One shot is trying to dig deep into your core and make you feel basically. I'm trying to. It's hard to find the words, but it's sort of like. Whereas Serious Sam Grand Cathedral is like trying, to make you feel like awestruck by something massive or something big happening, with its grand cathedral reveal sort of thing.
Yes. My Burden is Light, it speaks to you at a more intimate level. It communicates directly to your soul. I would put
Yeah.
it like that.
Yeah, it's a bit more subtle than what Serious Sam goes for. Now,
It's a bit
I'm
more
going
subtle than most tracks in this tournament, to be fair.
You don't say.
Well, to be honest, with both of these games, I've never played either of them, personally myself, but I am going to go with Grand Cathedral just because of the way it makes me feel like it could be basically put into a scene like with a sort of badass gladiator coming into an arena as the audience is cheering for bloodshed.
Fair. Devar?
Right. So, One Shot, My Burden is Light is definitely a very somber piece that invokes a sense of weirdly, oddly, odd sense of nostalgia, in a sense.
It
Yeah,
does,
if that
doesn't
makes
it?
any sense.
It makes you yearn for something that's no longer there. There is a sadness and a melancholy to it. Definitely.
Yes, I agree with that. And Serious Sam's Grand Cathedral is one of my personal favorites from the Serious Sam series, personally. And it's, to me, it's a very simple piece of music, but it does the job of selling a Grand Cathedral on top of it being, on top of the invoking the feeling of there's an insurmountable odds thrown against you,
It is
as
very
grand as the
sad
cathedral.
and disappointing that the actual final boss of that level has the most generic action theme imaginable.
Yeah, I agree.
Ba, ba, wow, ba, ba, wow, ba, ba, wow, ba, ma, ma, bow.
But between these two, though, I will say that my vote goes to One Shot, My Burden is Light.
Surprising!
Yes, it's I enjoy a piece of music that speaks
Makes
to me
you
on a
think.
personal level and makes me feel something of the emotions I have described to you.
Yes, if I were voting tonight, I too would have voted for My Burden is Light, because it makes me feel but it also makes me think. Specifically, it makes me think about what I am feeling. That is the most you could possibly ask from any piece of art, really. But Icipal, what do you think? I have been subtly trying to influence your decision here. I don't know if you noticed.
We can tell. Don't worry. Your propaganda is very obvious.
Okay, but Icipal, what do you choose?
Can you give me 10 more seconds of one shot?
Sure.
There we go. That was 10 seconds.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is pretty hard because I have no idea what kind of game the game itself is, but this gives me a very distinct feeling of a puzzle game track. This gentle, moody melody plays in the background as you try to connect the dots or have a tree in line.
It is on the surface a post-apocalyptic adventure game. I think it was made with RPG Maker, but I could be wrong. But it has a very specific aesthetic to it. It's one of those games that has been unceremoniously compared to Undertale, even though it was technically older. But at the same time, it's one of those games that has only come into its own shape over the course of many, many, many years. So it has existed before Undertale, but also after Undertale.
And whereas Serious Sam 2, it has this very building up type of music. It makes me feel it while honestly, it doesn't make me think about this is a combat track that you listen to while mowing down hordes after hordes of monsters. This feels like a wrestling promo track of you walking towards the ring while camera pans across your ring that is made to look like ancient Incan temple as you prepare for the actual fight.
You know what? Now that you said it, I am picturing this track playing during Goldberg entrance in WCW. Oh my gosh, he's right. He's up to something, guys. Let's listen to him.
Let him cook.
Let him cook. Can you smell what the Icipal is cooking?
So in the end, I will have to think about this, like which of these tracks I would be more likely to put on and listen to. Higher chance of doing that and enjoying it. So in the end, my vote has to go to Grand Cathedral.
Oh, that's surprising. I almost thought you were going the opposite direction, but okay.
Like I said, this was a tough choice.
Grand Cathedral squeezes one and gets to the next round. Let's proceed.
One shot.
Interesting. Okay, so a certain couple of tracks are yet to appear in this tournament, and I'm starting to get worried. But now we have this. Right, so Undernaut's Labyrinth of Yomi is the kind of game no one has ever heard about, and very few people might have played. It is, I would best describe it as an entry-level dungeon crawler RPG. It is one of the easiest ones I've ever seen in my life, actually. Surprisingly, given how dire the setting and the premise is. But regardless, what strikes me about this game more than anything else is the first thing you hear when you boot it up, which is this track exactly. Let's listen to it.
Contender, Undernaut's Labyrinth of Yomi, play your tune.
Imagine you're booting up this game for the first time, you get to the main menu, and this track plays on it, and you are completely taken off guard, and you are awestruck. That was definitely my experience with it. No other music in that game goes as hard or strikes you down that firmly as track number 1 from this soundtrack. And let me tell you, it was very, very hard to find information or proper credit for the track in question. The name I put there, Naoaki Jinbo. He is credited for one song in this game, which is not this one, and the sound in general. I hope he is the right credit for this, because I could not find, for the life of me, a name for whomever composed the soundtrack overall. I'm assuming it's this guy. I hope I'm right. But that tells you how obscure this game is, really.
Yeah.
This one definitely belongs in the short list of main menu music that you are never going to start the game because you want to listen to the end.
Yeah.
And now for a massive, massive heavy hitter, your contract has expired from A Hut in Time.
Contender, A Hat in Time. Play your tune.
Okay, pause. I need to force you to pause because we could be here all night with this one.
Yeah.
Yet another example of a track in which every part is the best part. I can't choose which part I like the most. All of it is so sublimely composed and paced. It is one of the best boss tracks ever. I don't think I'm exaggerating. It is so good from start to finish. Spooky Halloween themed, frenetic energy, catchy, all the positive adjectives you could use to describe it. The soundtrack from A Hut in Time is top-notch. No notes in that regard. And composer Pascal Michael Stiefel is a genius in that regard. And by the way, the reason why the name is capitalized is because that's how it appeared on the research.
Ah.
He has his name capitalized apparently, which is very funny. So of course, you might have recognized this because your contract as expired is the track I used for our medplay episodes.
Yeah.
Our Let's Play series with me and Davar that we have semi-retired at the moment. I like this music that much. But what do you think? Davar, what do you think?
Yes, Undernauts does basically make a good first impression. And it just basically does have this oppressive feeling to it. That and it hits all the right hits
Notes?
with me. Yeah, like hits the right notes for me, when it comes
Literally
to
and figuratively, yes.
yeah. Meanwhile, A Hat in Time's Your Contract Expired is just a banging boss theme that hits all the notes more harder than anything that I could imagine. So, of course, it's going to be A Hat in Time for me.
Right. Danton?
Can you Isopal go next? Because I'm collecting my thoughts.
All right. Oh, this is getting interesting. Icipal. Don't tell me you need time to collect your thoughts
Oh.
as well.
No. I have just thinking of how to
Word
this
it.
all into words because while I like how the undernotes give me this feeling of building dread, almost giving me this image of I'm traveling through a forest in broad daylight with all the colors of orange, red, and yellow surrounding me. But at the same time, I know there's something out there that is hunting me, but I can't see it. The threat level basically constantly keeps rising up with the music.
That's a beautiful way of putting it, actually.
And with A Hat in Time, it feels like the first part feels like I'm on a ghost ride in an amusement park that then suddenly is in the middle of it turns into an actual dangerous situation with the rhythm become more stable and intense. But in the end, my vote this time will go to Undernotes.
Okay, fair. I knew that this was going to catch your ear, so to speak, knowing your love for epic main menu music.
Yeah, that's right.
It's your weakness, it's your musical G-spot, so to speak. Dantan, what do you think? Have you collected your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna have to now because otherwise we'll be here all night. But when you said that this is a dungeon crawler, this Undernauts,
Yes.
I was going to say that the music does give me those vibes of delving into a long forgotten dungeon, trying to find secret switches upon walls and whatnot. But there's this, but it's laden with monsters and all manner of devious traps that could kill you at any moment to end the run.
Yes, honestly, the music makes it sound like this is the most hardcore, scary, dread-inducing dungeon crawler that there ever was, but instead it's shockingly easy, which
Yeah.
sort of goes against the ethos and the atmosphere that this music gives to you. But luckily, you don't need to know that to appreciate the music itself.
Yeah, but with A Hat in Time, it has this sort of whimsy to it, but yet at the same time, this threatening sort of underlying tone of you're in trouble, and if you do not do the right things, then you will perish to the boss.
Yes.
Sort of turn.
I mean, that's exactly it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I really like this particular song, which made it extra hard for me to try and separate my feelings from it. So Undernauts gets my vote.
Oh, that's an upset win if I ever saw one. This has gotten interesting.
You're telling me.
Undernauts advances for my great shock and surprise. Oh no! This is exactly what I was afraid might happen. So, my friends, this is the ultimate matchup in this entire tournament. These are the two most high-budget, highly produced songs in the entire bracket. This could have easily been the final round. The fact that they are meeting each other in the first round is scary, honestly, because if one of these wins, there isn't much left in terms of actual competition. At least that's the idea.
One shall stand. One shall
yes.
fall.
You have listened to these ones fairly recently. They were in the last episode of Be Confidently Wrong, right before the tournament. But you're going to need a refresher, so let's just begin with Xenoblade Chronicles X Black Tar.
Contenders, Xenoblade Chronicles X, play your tune.
We're stuck on a whole different planet. No peace looking at the sky. Trouble's always all around, so we stay quick with the guns and cannons. Standing as long as you can until we get all dolls up. Then call our bets off with blow the guitar. Dealing with lives messed up. On a second dark matter, every minute matters. Live a while, other lives shatter. See it go scatter. As they pour out, we can handle them. It's a car taking over the cave, unexpected. Hard to accept it, getting marked with death. Seeing friends snatched and darkly possessed. The dark inside, still in the body and wrapped. So only a shell is left. Witness the hell in the flesh. I fight to the death. Screaming, where's the relief? Maybe no more sleep. All swallowed in grief. Images start to stalk my release. I hear voices, but no one talking to me.
It's like I'm washing away my peaceful days anyway. Anyhow, nothing left of the sea. If you were losing your way, you'd need some protection. Right, I'll get you wherever you go. They could find you with sticky. Wherever you try, don't feel like you just can't be there.
Okay, pause. So, hold on, we're not done here, not by a long shot, because judging this particular track is going to prove challenging for all of us, because if you recall last time, I've already explained that this track really is not one single song. It is two songs belonging to completely different genres that are somehow included in the same file. This 6 minutes long epic has a first half that's basically a combination of nu metal and techno, and a second half which is electronica and J-pop. Essentially. The second half is a direct continuation of the first half. There is a story being told here. So they feed into each other in a continuity, in a narrative continuity, I should say. But they are effectively two songs for the price of one, and that's a bit unfair towards everyone else here. Now we have to listen to the second half.
the voice I'm hearing overwhelms me, can't stop breathing. Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me in the fog. How many times I keep running? How do you feel that she she's like endless. How do I know? Stop, stop, it's all around. How can I get out? This nightmare I've got escape. You're just screaming. Feel them one another.
Okay, pause.
Get ready.
I'll try to be as brief and concise as possible here. The first half of this track was used for the generic battle theme, so it's one of the first things you would hear in the first hours of the game. 50 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles X, you are bestowed the gift of giant robots for you to pilot. And when you are fighting aboard the mechs, you hear the second half of this track, which has a much more techno quality to it, to fit the new advancement in technology. You are no longer fighting on the ground with swords and guns like a bunch of schmucks. You are piloting robots. So now the track fits the mood. What is even there for me to say about this track? It is ridiculously highly produced, ridiculously ambitious, so much effort, many complex moving parts to it. It is a beast of a songs I should say, and it somehow still counts as one track, one Black Tar. I have entertained the notion of splitting this one into two tracks, two distinct tracks, and have them both compete in the tournament. But I don't think that would have worked, and it would have stolen a slot to something else I wanted in here. So now we have this 6 minutes long epic musical journey to compete against everything else, and everything else going against it feels like an underdog because of that. Now, let's set Black Tar aside for a moment here, and let's get to Under the Weight, which is a more simple track in terms of its genre choice and its rhythm, but it's also equally ambitious in terms of production. Let's go.
Contender, Final Fantasy XIV. Play your tune. Oh, there it is.
Okay, pause. So, in terms of representing the ultimate struggle against an unbeatable opponent, this one might be the best example of that exact feeling that you want to summon into the player. You hear this song blaring into your eardrums as you're fighting the Titan, and you realize that you are in the fight of your life and you might not survive. And I appreciate the fervor, the sheer, uncontrollable, unrestrained fervor of the singer as he yells, "Titan! Crush them all!" It's the kind of enthusiasm that I can only dream to ever possess for anything. I appreciate it for that, and also for everything else that it accomplishes. Good luck, gentlemen. Seriously, good luck. Icy Paul, do you want to start?
Oh boy.
Oh gosh.
I knew this was going to be the most difficult matchup. I was hoping it wouldn't come up so soon, but alas,
I
here we
am
are.
going to say something very controversial here.
Go
Yes.
I have big issues with both of these tracks.
Oh, it's because you cannot understand the vocals, is it?
Yes and no. First go over Black Tar. I'm not really fond of the first half of the track because it's like feels like it feels like it was written by a teenager who wanted to sound cool and epic.
I said it was new metal. And if you want to completely generalize new metal, yes, that's what people who don't like new metal think new metal is like. So, yes,
Well,
your
I do not-
description
I-
isn't incorrect.
I will take your word for it because I know nothing about new metal.
Linkin Park.
I know nothing about Linkin Park.
Okay.
What?
Well, that we need to fix
Listen
that.
to it.
That's scandalous.
But as I was, it feels kinda weird and like sort of unfittingly childish with a lot of those. Like we heard, Devar actually chuckle at one part of the lyrics.
The bar was chuckling at the second half. Those were the funny parts of it. Yes, this song says, shoot them until they die at some point, so it knows what it is.
Yes, but my point stands because the first part too had some lyrics that made me like, wait, really? This got
Yes.
this got put in the final
No.
version of the song.
That's exactly it. You have to appreciate how both of these songs are extremely corny at their core when you stop to actually listen to what they are saying. But they are still awesome and cool, not despite of it, but because of it. Because they embrace what they are and they go as hard as they could possibly go. That's
Yeah.
my argument for both of them, by the way. But again, the issue now is for you to decide which one of these you tolerate the most.
Well, the Black Tar does improve greatly during the second half, so I do not have to blaspheme against the great Hiroyuki Sawano too much. In the other corner, Under the Weight is, well, as Madhog put it out, if there wasn't any actual lyrics on the screen, I wouldn't have been able to make out much of what it said during the first portion.
It's going impressively fast. I have to say, I'm not as pedantic or as particular as you are with the idea of understanding what the singer is saying. I don't need to understand what's being said at any given point in a song for me to appreciate the energy that the song is exuding. If it appeals to me at a fundamental level, there is no changing that. That guy could have been barking like a dog for 5 minutes, and I still would have enjoyed it.
I mean, I've listened a lot of Japanese music, and even though I might understand even at best only a little part of it, I can still make out what they are saying instead of sounding like they were just spouting gibberish.
But it's fun gibberish.
But to get back under the wait, as soon as when the lyrics come into something more coherent than just a bow down over, it gets a lot better and gets this very epic boss battle style.
Very death metal light, I would say.
So in the end, my vote will have to go to Under the Weight from Final Fantasy XIV.
This might actually be a challenge then. Danton?
Right. So, where to begin?
I
From the
don't know.
beginning.
Well, first off, since it's on the left, Black Tar. It's funny because as I was listening to it, I just couldn't help but think of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's basically Shadow's part of the game, like just like Team Dark or something.
Okay, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it is a good thing because I quite like Shadow and whatnot. And also, I do have a bias because Hiroyuki Sawano's music I really enjoy, especially some of the anime openings and endings and
Yes.
whatnot. Recreators comes to mind as soon as I hear the name. The thing is, with Black Tar, even if I'm being generous with it, if it is two pieces of music put together, the other one could be considered as a reprise, as a part of the piece sort of thing. So they both go together as one, as a package deal.
The second half might seem like it's the techno remix of the first half, in a way. His World by Zebrahead and the version by Crash 40 in the same song.
Yeah. With Fantasy 14's Under the Weight, I appreciate basically what they're going for. And I don't really mind how the singer sings lyrics because I like Black Onslaught from BlazBlue, which is just basically, you know, and I really enjoy that music.
It reminds me of that one certain song from Final Fantasy X, but faster. I think
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
talking
talk
about.
about the opening.
But this one I actually like. I did not particularly care for that one because that one actually does sound like somebody barking.
Yeah.
But this one is more like somebody's face is melting as they are singing.
Yeah. But it is a hard choice, you know. But
It is.
if you were to put a gun to my head, I would say Black Tar because
Yes.
it's just a lot more up my alley than it is than Under the Weight. Under the Weight, I feel like I have to be in the actual moment to appreciate it more. If you get what I'm
Yes.
saying.
If I may throw my 2 bits into this, even though I'm not voting myself.
Yeah.
Black Tar, I enjoy listening to it from start to finish, all 6 minutes of it. Because there is never a dull moment with it. Whereas Under the Weight, I don't really need to listen to it until the end, because it never really changes. Devar, it's all up to you.
Right. So here's a shocker for you all, but this is very easy for me.
Uh-huh.
But I do want to say though that both tracks from these two different games, which are both RPGs, might I add, different genre type of RPGs, but they're RPGs.
Surprisingly, they aren't all that different, because if you had told me that Xenoblade Chronicles X was an MMORPG, I would have believed you, considering what I had to do in it.
But yeah,
But go on.
I do appreciate the unapologetic energy both pieces of music bring to the table, though, in their own right. Xenoblade Chronicle X's Black Tar, it actually takes me back to the 2000s, where this sort of music was very popular. And I will say that I actually do consider both tracks not separate. I would consider them one song entirely myself, because it's not the first time I've heard a piece of music where a band basically decides to shake up a song by bringing in another genre in some case or form to basically sell a sort of theme or atmosphere they want to convey with the with whatever they're doing. Black Tar really takes me back to those days where, you know, I heard this sort of music everywhere, and it's either hit or miss for me, but this bloody hits really hard for me. You know,
I can tell.
and I just love it, even right down to the obvious English lyrics that tries to be serious, like, you know, that you would hear from Japanese
Am I
singers.
alone? I need a bigger gun.
Yeah, that got me laughing just because it made me think of the line from Jaws, "You need a bigger boat."
It is pretty funny. And yes, there are pretty big monsters on that planet you are exploring.
But yeah, it's a very easy vote for me. It's Black Tar. As much as I enjoy the energy of Under the Weight, it's not the type of music I want to listen to. Titan's Theme is just, okay, that's pretty neat. Never gonna listen to you again.
I can't say I am surprised by this result. So Black Tar advances to the quarterfinals. What's next? Okay. I think this will also be a very easy choice. Let's begin with Gory, Cuddly Carnage. Final Chase. By the way, that title makes it seem like it's a Sonic stage. At the end of Sonic Adventure 2, Final Chase.
Yeah, I get you now.
But
Anyway.
let's listen to it.
Contender, Gory, Cuddly Carnage, play your tune.
Pause. So the comparison to Sonic is a bit more apt than you might have imagined. At the beginning, they play an instrumental version of the game's main theme, which was a song with lyrics. Well, sort of. The only lyrics in that song was "Gory, Cuddly Carnage," but it counts. And the rest of it is a series of various samples, meticulously crammed in together to make what is the track for the final chase. And it is, in fact, a final chase. This belongs in that category of niche, more personal selections, personal favorites for which I have a soft spot. I don't expect them to go far, but we do like a good underdog story from time to time. Now we get to listen to my second favorite track from Cassette Beasts, Face Down.
Contender, Cassette Beasts, play your tune.
Let's go, let's feel the pressure. Step in
course, I've made my point before when it comes to the soundtrack of Cassette Beasts. I like the punk rock energy. I like the singing voice that's struggling to hit some of the higher notes, but it adds to the aesthetic and the energy of it. And I really like the color palette and the vibe that Cassette Beasts exudes. Cassette Beasts is, I would describe it as a Shin Megami Tensei game pretending to be a Pokemon game, and it works magnificently in that regard. This is the track that plays during, let's call them gym trainer battles. Yes, let's go with that. I do like me a song that taunts me, by the way. This is a very good taunting song in that regard. But the decision is not up to me. It is up to you, people. So, Devar?
I just like how you say, you people.
You people disgust me.
I said this before, I say it again. I like the energy from Cassette Beasts, and I like the overall vibe it's going for. And in these cases, with the tracks that we've heard from this game in the past, the singer does really well with setting that indie vibe, indie punk rock vibe you would play on your Walkman sort of deal.
Absolutely.
And I do like that, but it doesn't hit me in any way, shape, or form. Meanwhile, Gory Cuddly Carnage has a lot of personality to it that I can really gel with, and also you Madhog, you put this piece of music in here because it has choir moments in it.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that actually, but it is a contributing factor.
Because I do love me some choirs that basically make it sound way more epic and cooler than it probably is.
It is a pretty cool moment right at the end of the game. You have defeated the final boss and now you have to get away from death, essentially. It's literally a final chase. By the way, I recommend the Gory Cuddly Carnage. It is an outstanding video game. It is so much fun.
But as we get to my vote, I say Gory Cuddly Carnage is my vote.
Ah. Okay, well, that's the first surprise of the night, really. But yes, it is. But let's see how this goes then. Danton.
Right. So, Cassette Beasts is...
Okay, vote for Cassette Beasts.
Let me talk. I like the energy. Basically, is very upbeat sort of thing. I would say, in its general vibe, even if it is a taunting piece, as you put it. With Gory Cuddly Carnage, at first I was like, okay, this is kind of just like standard chase music, and then suddenly the chanting was like, okay, this is basically putting it up a level sort of thing, which is
you people are so easy sometimes.
yeah, which is why I'm voting for Cassette Beasts.
Oh, interesting. Oh, a subversion of the subversion.
Yeah,
Good
because
job.
even though I do like Gory Cuddly Carnage, I think basically just chanting alone doesn't really get my vote. It has to basically have a sort of style and structure throughout that's consistent, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. Icipal, it's all down to you.
Can you give me like 50 more seconds of Gory Cuddly Carnage?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I think that should be enough.
Yeah. And like 10 more seconds of cassette beast.
Okay.
Okay.
Make the ground that you fall on get set. It's an arms race. The wind takes us all on enough.
Okay. There we go.
With the cassette beast, I really like how the beginning there is this the drum beat go slowly intensifying as if we are prepping for the battle of the bands,
Yes.
the opposing group, before we get to the actual vocals section. The gory cuddly carnage it's very. I like everyone. My first thought that it's very Sonic like track, but then it gets a very upbeat energy, feelings of momentum, and then it actually surprises us with the whole choir part being added to the mix.
Apparently, the choir part is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this track, which surprises me, honestly, but okay, I'm fine with that.
But in the end, my vote will go to Face Down from Cassette Beast.
I, once again, am not surprised, but here we go. Cassette Beasts goes down to the quarterfinals, and now we have the last matchup of this round.
Bye bye, Corey Cuddly Cottage. I liked your music.
Ah, I see. Yes, these were the only ones left, indeed. This is another unusual, weird matchup, but then again, they all tend to be that. Let's start with the least likely to win, which is Bushside Rangers.
Contender, Bushside Rangers, Chapter 1. Play your tune.
Pause. So funny that this is yet another chase sequence track. I think we've had 3 of those tonight. So, as I've already discussed in the last episode of Be Confidently Wrong, when this track was played, this is yet another easily forgettable mascot horror dime in a dozen series, chapter 1 to be specific. But the soundtrack is shockingly high quality and gripping in a way that I would not expect this kind of game to have, really. Somebody actually put effort into making this, and I want to appreciate that, even if I don't respect all that much the genre itself. So yes, there is a good build-up, there is a memorable, catchy leitmotif, and then there is the sampled voice that tells you to beware and be prepared. Because it's coming! Run, Ranger! Run, run, Ranger! That's the title of the song.
Yes.
Right. And now, speaking of excellent music made by acclaimed indie musicians, we have versus the Mythic Dreamers from Beastie Ball, the best creature collector game of all time. Fight me on the streets. Go.
Contender, Beastie Ball, play your tune.
Pause. It is time to judge them. So who wins and who doesn't? That's the question, isn't it? To be or not to be? The Mythic Dreamers or Run Run Ranger? That is the question. Icipal, let's start with you.
I give my vote to Mythic Dreamers. It has this nice energy to it, and while I'm not really sold on the lyrics, it does give this very RPG sports game vibe to me.
Well, funny you should say that, because Beastie Ball at its core is what if Pokemon played volleyball? And it absolutely rips. It's so good.
While
It's impossibly good.
While the Run Run Ranger just comes off to me as kind of bland.
Did you say bland?
Yes.
Well, okay. I understand why you would feel that way.
Are you sorry that I feel that way?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. The bar?
Okay. So let's see. I'm just need to form my thoughts here for a moment. So Beastie Ball, Vocaloid sounding, vocalist, Bushside Rangers. If you didn't tell me it was a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of style,
It's not. Oh, hold on. I said mascot horror. Nowadays, a mascot horror is basically ripping off Poppy's Playtime, which in itself was inspired by Bendy, which in itself was ripping off Bioshock, actually. So, in a way, all these mascot horrors are Bioshock rip-offs.
Right. But yeah, if you didn't tell me if it was one of those sort of games with mascot horrors involved, then I would have
Something that
assumed...
chases you at some point, yes.
Yeah, I would have assumed it was basically like a platformer, level or something like that.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Elaborate.
It's just more of a it's just more of a matter of fact of how I feel about the music without knowing what the game is. But honestly, if I was to pick out of the two of these, I would actually choose Bushside Rangers, just because
Oh!
it's more interesting compared to Beastie Ball. For my biased taste, I will call it that.
I think it's the leitmotif of the track. After the build, you get to which is both catchy and unexpected after that build. There is a feeling of dread that's subsumed into a feeling of, what is this? Curiosity, I would say. An intrigue, if you will.
Yeah.
It's an intriguing composition. In subtle ways, you have to listen to it enough times to start to realize, oh, I actually do find this intriguing in some way.
Yeah.
So 1 point for Bushside Rangers and 1 point for Beastie Ball. Danton, guess what? You have to decide.
I'm aware, and I've already got a choice in mind. Beastie Ball, I will basically say first offhand, is, as Devar said, it really does give me that vibe of Vocaloid music, which I do enjoy, basically a few of them. But the style of the song, of how it's presented, is it's got a lot more style going for it than Bushside Rangers. If you were to tell me this was a chase music, I would find this very underwhelming, if I'm being perfectly honest and bluntly. So Beastie Ball is my vote.
Okay, fair enough. Like I said, I did not expect this to go very far. These were my choices because I like them personally, but I had no illusion of grandeur, so to speak. Okay, so now we are up to the second round, the quarterfinals, and things can go a little bit faster now that we have all of our music opinions sorted out.
Well, this is interesting.
This is interesting.
Two
It's
different horrors
versus horror. Psychological horror versus slasher? Yes.
Yeah,
Slasher,
I would
haunted
definitely-
house.
I would definitely go with Slasher.
Some manner of period piece as well. Yes, why not? Let's listen to Clock Tower first. Okay, pause. We get the idea. Let's listen to Mouth Washing. John Carpenter's The Thing. So it has finally dawned on me. The noises that you hear in the background, they are akin to intrusive thoughts getting inside your brain as you are going through life. And those intrusive thoughts, they sound like a newborn baby crying or emitting newborn baby sounds. I think it's going for that kind of emulation. And having played the game, and knowing what the game is about, or rather one of the things that the game is about, this hits differently, let me tell you. This this gives me pause. Oh boy, it sure does. It sure does, having realized that. It does. Ugh.
Yeah, I
You should
dread
play mouth-washing. Play mouth-washing, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, but we have to decide. Let's start with you, Danton.
Well, both of them have a very different vibe of horror, so, and I appreciate them both. But I'm going with Clock Tower because I like it more.
Fair enough. Icipal?
I'm going with the Clock Tower as well.
Okay, Devar?
Clock Tower gives me goosebumps compared to mouthwashing. So Clock Tower is.
Wow, unanimous decision. That's surprising a little bit. I didn't think mouthwashing was going to be such an underdog.
Well,
Yeah.
it sadly goes up against essentially a piece that speaks to most of us in different levels.
Clock Tower goes to the semi-finals. Good job, Clock Tower.
Oh,
Next up we have... Oh, okay, this is interesting. Let's listen to the Grand Cathedral first. Pause. Etrian Odyssey 3, if you please. Pause. I could be sitting here, sitting pretty, all night, listening to this, and never getting tired of it. But unfortunately, we have a rest of the tournament to run. So let's get to the voting, shall we? Devar.
Right. So I'm just going to say outright, it's Etrian Odyssey 3 because it is the more satisfying tune to listen to between the two.
No surprise there. Danton?
Well, I really like both of these pieces, so it's a very difficult choice. But if you were to chop my fingers off and shove them into my mouth and force me to choose, it would be Etrian Odyssey 3.
Again, no surprise there. And I was just about to get the axe, so you're lucky. Icy Pal?
I will give my vote to Etrian Odyssey 3 as well.
Right. So, once again, with no surprise from anybody, Raise Thy Sword goes to the semifinals. Oh boy. So we have an upset win versus the tournament's favorite. I wonder who could possibly advance. Let's listen to Undernots. Yes. Okay, pause. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a choir somewhere in this.
It's very light, or
It's very faint, or rather, I think it's not a real choir, but it is a composition that emulates the sound of a choir, which is just as impressive, if you ask me.
It's an acquired taste.
Oh dear lord. Okay, so
I will-
Blacktar.
I will say one more
Thanks.
thing about Undernot's musical piece here, but it's like, but when you say the choir is very subtle, it's maybe kind of be seen as like people screaming from the depths of the dungeon.
I do like that interpretation, good sir.
On a seeking dark matter, every minute matters. Live a while, other lives shatter. Seeking go scatter. As they pour out, we can handle them. It's a car taking over the cave unexpected. Hard to accept it, getting marked with death. Seeking friends, snatched and darkly possessed. The car inside, still in the body and breath. So only a shell is left. Witness the hell in the flesh, a fight to the death. Screaming, where's the relief? Maybe no more sleep. All swallowed in grief. Images start to stalk my release. I hear voices, but no one talking to me.
It's like I'm washing away my peaceful days anyway. Anyhow, in the sea left of the sea. If you were losing your way, you need some protection. Right, I'll get you wherever you go. They will find you with sticky.
Okay, pause. Now jump to a random moment in the second half.
We're stuck on a different planet. A lot more than we can manage, but we gotta keep on standing. We're stuck on a different planet. A lot more than we can manage, but we gotta keep on standing. Just wanna live in peace, yeah. Black cars gonna keep us restless, running just to hold our own breath. Just wanna live in peace, yeah. Black cars gonna keep us restless, running just to keep our own breath. dripping black tar that's taking a ship down so far. Don't wanna lose hope.
Okay, pause. And now you have to decide. Icy Paul?
I give my vote to Undernots.
Yes, you've made your feelings about Black Tar clear. Come to think of it, I still cannot believe Undernauts beat your contract as expired. That's a lot farther I expected this one to go to, but I think it's a testament to how surprisingly potent this piece of music is.
I mean, at this point of doing these tournaments, everyone should be used to there being always a surprise contender.
Yes, I suppose so, but still. Danton.
Right. So, trying to separate my bias about Hiroyuki Sawano.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, so it's a very good high action sort of energy piece. But Undernauts has this very, as I listen to it more, it's like has this very surprising sort of depth, like an onion sort of thing going on.
Like an ogre.
Yeah, well, it's like how Devar said basically that, you know, the choir could be so quiet because it sounds like people deep in the dungeon screaming. It's like, that's actually I'm not sure if that's intentional or just an accidental thing, but
I think we might be accidentally building a mythology around this track.
yeah, I feel that way too. But there's something surprising about it to me, so Undernauts has my vote.
No!
No, I cannot believe this is happening. Wow, this is shocking. This is legitimately shocking. I did not expect Devar.
I'm heartbroken. I was gonna choose Black Tar.
I am just as baffled as you are, but you've heard them. Undernauts beats Black Tar. This is a weird timeline we are inhabiting.
I know. Oh. I'm just hurt now.
I guess I just like subtlety a bit.
I mean, I wouldn't call Undernauts subtle, but I get what you mean.
Compared to Black Tar, if we're comparing the two.
Okay.
Subtlety? You know what? I know musicians who are subtle, and they are all cowards. Okay. Face down, if you please.
Let's go, let's feel the pressure stepping over the line. Give it an extra little bit of a special little flick of the hose. It's getting heated, now you're running behind. Don't stop, don't let them notice your moves aren't quite in time. 'Cause you don't wanna wait until you're 6 feet under. Get up, face down. We're not kidding around, what's that sound? Your pride hitting the ground, and I've come too far to let them down. All in, we're all here for the scene, where it seems that it's gonna be me. I'm walking away with my new crown, leaving you here, face down.
Pause. And now versus the Mythic Dreamers. ahead a little bit. Okay. Let us vote. Danton?
This is difficult. I would have to say, out of the two, Cassette Beasts.
Okay. Icipal?
Can I go last? I still need to think about this.
The VAR.
I will go with Beastie Ball.
It's a tie then. Icipal?
I'll have to go with Cassette Beasts.
Okay. Skitsy Cassette Beasts goes to the semifinals. Hey guys, it's semifinals time. Can Clock Tower survive the onslaught of the dungeon? Let's listen to it.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, do it. Okay. The drums and then gets me every time.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know who's going to win here, but let's see if you can surprise me. Icipal?
Well, let's just cut to the chase. Etrian Odyssey 3.
Yes. Okay. Danton? Be
I
honest.
I like them both. But one is basically, you cannot kill this thing, you have to run. The other one is, there's a chance you can kill it, you just have to fight like hell to do it. Etrian Odyssey 3.
You mustn't run away! You mustn't run away!
And the VAR. You can exorcise your demons, finally.
And so it shall be done. Etrian Odyssey 3 will destroy the Scissor Man.
Right. And so, Etrian Odyssey goes to the finals. No surprise there. And now, oh, okay, I think I know what the final is going to look like, given previous escapades. Let's listen to Undernuts. I think it's a proper choir being drowned out
Yeah.
by the musical escalation, which makes it more powerful and also unexpectedly more subtle. There are sounds from this music you might not catch unless you are wearing headphones.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
Also, I'll amend my my analogy for the choir by basically saying instead of people screaming, it's ghosts within the dungeon haunting it.
Sure.
That's okay, cassette beasts.
Let's go, let's feel the pressure, stepping over the line. Give it an extra little bit of a special little flick of the hose. It's getting heated, now you're running behind. Don't stop, don't let them notice your moves aren't quite in time. 'Cause you don't wanna wait until you're 6 feet under. Get up, face down. We're not kidding around, what's that sound? Your pride hitting the ground, and I've come too far to let them down. All in, we're all here for the scene, where it seems that it's gonna be me. I'm walking away with my new crown, leaving you here, face down.
Pause. I am happy that both the tracks from Cassette Beasts that have been used for these tournaments have made it to the semifinals in both cases. That's a testament to the strength of that soundtrack. You know, to be judged favorably by a group of random people
Yeah.
on the internet. That's clearly that is okay, but let's get to the voting, as it were. Danton?
Right. Both these tracks have different feels to them, but I would probably listen to Undernaughts more, I feel.
We've had songs that are 6 minutes long, and here's Undernaughts with its humble 1.5 minute running time.
Undernaughts, Underdog.
I sincerely wish this track had a title. Alas, I could not find a title for this track, if it even has one. It is such an anomaly. Everything about it. Basically a mystery. But anyway, Devar?
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to say Undernaughts for this one.
At this point, I am no longer surprised. Icipal?
I am surprised you are still capable of being surprised.
Is life worth living if you cannot get surprised by anything?
Well, if you want
Don't
to take
answer
it in
that.
just a grand scheme, then
Give me your vote, smart guy.
I'll give my vote to Undernaughts as well.
So the finals of the Be Confidently Wrong Tournament Turbo Edition is Atrian Odyssey versus Undernaughts? Never in my wildest dreams. I expected Tumult. Raise thy sword in pride to make it to the finals because it is a no-brainer banger. But Undernaughts is the huge upset for tonight.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
The only one of my niche choices that made it this far, and I'm impressed.
Black Tar, you could have been there.
Okay, let's listen to Undernaughts first. This is the finals, everybody. And then rise thy sword in pride. Okay. What's funny about this is that both of these games are dungeon crawler RPGs. So it's a dungeon crawler sweep for tonight, which is sweet.
It is a coincidence that you cannot plan for.
No, you can't. I'm very happy of how successful Undernauts has been tonight. It feels validating that a very obscure piece of music from an obscure video game has this much acceptance amidst my friend group. It's not always the case. In fact, you guys positively snobbed Run Run Rangers.
I am not apologizing.
No, neither am I.
Would
I'm not asking you to apologize, I'm just stating the facts. Speaking of the facts, it's time to decide a victor for tonight's tournament. And let's start with you, Devar.
Oh boy.
Are you able to choose, Devar?
Oh.
Choose, but choose wisely.
Do you want me to come back to you later?
Could you please?
Okay, let's make things simple for all of you. If you vote for Tumult, say aye.
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 If you vote for Undernauts, say aye.
Aye.
We have a winner. So, yes, Raise Thy Sword in Pride, composed by Yuzo Koshiro, is the winner of tonight's tournament. Once again, not a surprising winner, but still, it went out against a very surprising opponent. Let me just talk a bit more about the track 1 from Undernauts. That track is such a mystery to me, because there is nothing else in the entire game that sounds like it at all. To the point, in fact, that it feels like it's from a completely different soundtrack, which is bewildering. Nothing else lives up to it. And I am hoping, again, that I have given the correct credit for it. It was not easy to find information on who composed the soundtrack for this game. If anybody has more information about the soundtrack from Undernauts, specifically track 1 of Undernauts, including if it has a title or not, please, I'm begging you, let me know, because I could not find anything of import. But now, let us circle around our winner in celebration of its achievement. Raise Thy Sword in Pride, the best track in tonight's tournament and in our hearts.
Yay!
From the Nintendo DS classic dungeon crawler RPG Etrian Odyssey 3: The Drowned City.
Da, 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 da.
You know what? Indulge me. Let's listen to it one last time. Okay. Stop. And on that highest of notes, thank you for joining us, everybody. I have been your tournament host and arbiter, Madhog the Master, joined by our panel of judges. Davar Arkvaron.
Yep, I was here.
Thank you. Dantan Stormkeeper. And Icipal. Titan. I have a fun idea to see us off. Should we try to harmonize the Undernouts theme?
I feel that Discord would be.
Etc. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Right. So everything's shut off now.
It's over.
It is over.
Black Tower has been robbed.
I know, right?
I mean, tar is valuable.
It tried too hard.
It went so far and fought so hard, but in the end, it doesn't
Does it
even
even matter?
Right. Yes. Okay. Should we leave? Should we go away?
I mean, we could.
Should
but
we
then again, it's
just?
early/late, so.
It is very early/late, as it were.
Yeah.
The stream has ended as it is showing on my Discord.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice seeing you all, and this is fun because it's always lovely to hear pieces of music.
Indeed.
So
It's always fun. Honestly, we should do these tournaments more often because I'm having a ton of fun. Glorified podcasts with you about gaming music in a format that's actually quite fun to peruse.
Yeah.
So hopefully this latest tournament website won't go the way of Uwu Fufu anytime soon and we can continue to peruse it.
Yeah.
That
Time
would
will
be
tell.
nice.
Well,
We'll
he
see.
just
Time will
changed it.
tell.
We'll see though.
Okay,
Anyway.
shut up.
Anyway, I'll just get going
So-
now. So you have a good
Yes,
night.
I'm going
Yeah.
to go too.
Yes, see
Have
you
a
guys.
good one, everybody.
Take care.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are they gone? Hello? Is this thing on? Am I all alone? Is anybody there? I need a bigger gun!